lot of nuts!
Moshi Moshi hyenas, and welcome back to Pixel Purgatory, where memes get judged. Now, most people don't spend their time taking a look at images of girls licking other girls' armpits, and the reason for that is because most people are losers. I spend most of my time staring at pictures of girls licking other girls' armpits, but that's not something I would admit out loud, nor would I start a video that way because it would be weird. Who, what, when, where, and why? Let's quickly cover all of the basics of this meme so that you have an understanding and we can move along to overanalyzing the underwhelming. Who is this meme? This meme was originally posted to Twitter looking like a screen grab from Discord by user Cool Chow Zhao, who seems to be focusing on making artwork and 3D renders from Umemoshi Pretty Derby, as well as Team Fortress 2, Gary's Mod, and a number of other 3D artwork styled. They're a 3D model and artist, that sort of thing. What is this meme? This meme is a GIF image that appears to be a screen grab from a Discord message. It depicts two characters from Umemoshi Pretty Derby, you may know it as the Horse Girl Gacha game, and it shows Sakura Bakushin, which is why this is titled the Bakushin Armpit GIF, having her armpit licked by another character by the name of Sakura Chiyono. In this Discord image, it showcases that somebody was asking for this sort of GIF before being replied to with this GIF image of this one girl licking the other girl. When was this meme? According to knowyourmeme.com, the original image was posted to Twitter and then subsequently deleted by Cool Chow Zhao on February 6th, which was less than 2 weeks ago, which means we got a relatively fresh one on today's episode. Where was this meme? Well, according to knowyourmeme.com, it was originally posted and deleted to Twitter. However, taking a look at the image, we can clearly see that it is an interaction between Cool Chow Zhao and what is presumably the original artist of the GIF image in a Discord conversation, but as of now, it's pretty much gone viral through artistic redraws and what have you all over Twitter and different parts of the internet, as well as the Umemoshi Pretty Derby subreddit, art communities, Discord servers. It's all over. And most importantly, why is this meme? And that is going to take a little bit more dissecting. Before we get into the video, guys, I want to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Into the AM. They are currently doing an Everyday Essentials promotion starting right now, today the 17th. You can click my link in the description to check out some of their everyday bundles that have all been heavily discounted in an effort to help you fill out your wardrobe with the basics, the essentials. No crazy graphic tees, no outerwear, none of that stuff. Just the most simple accoutrements you need to be able to go to the gym, grab a coffee, lounge at home, or whatever else you might need. These bundles are designed to fill up your closet with basics, and they are heavily discounted. In fact, these bundles are on such a big sale that you won't be getting the 10% off that you normally get with my link in the description. They are already super heavily discounted. So if you don't already have plain tees, non-branded stuff, just simple earthwear pants and shirts to be able to fill out the rest of your outfits, this is the time for you to pick something up. So use my link in the description, grab yourself some of these fantastic deals, probably the best you're gonna see all month, and enjoy it. Thank you, Into the AM. In my pursuit to try to document the best of the internet memes that the internet has to offer with all journalistic integrity, I have found current existing scoring systems in order to be representative of how quality a meme is to be underwhelming and lacking in nuance and fine details. And so I have spent the better part of the last week developing my own personal 100-point grading rubric that I have dubbed the hyena principle, that we will now be using in an effort to try to break down this meme in a way that actually highlights its highlights and showcases its lowlights in a way that you can more thoroughly appreciate what this thing has to offer, starting with H, the heartbeat. When we're talking about the heart of a meme, we are talking about two things in this section. We are talking about the technical nuance in its execution in terms of being a meme, the details, the art, the sound design, the animation, everything about it that makes it a good image, video, Vine, or whatever, as well as the execution and efficacy of the meme that it's trying to be. If this is something that is supposed to rage bait you, make you laugh, or make you think, how good of a job job does this meme do at rage baiting you, making you laugh, and making you think? With the first section being the technical nuance of this thing, I think this does an excellent job at being the meme that it's supposed to be. Now, when we're talking about artistic intent and polish, we're not just saying, does it look good? Because half the memes we're going to take a look at are going to be screen grabs from TV shows and movies, hand-drawn images, MS Paint, soy jacks. Those things aren't going to lose points simply because they aren't pretty, because the purpose of their design is to be a little bit more amateurish. But with this image, this GIF, it's a moving amount of animation that's put together, right? This is an artistic rendition. An artist took the time to create these two characters using existing artwork from a gacha game, which is already known for having some of the highest cortisol-inducing anime girls in it. It's using bright colors, it's using detailed character details that give them personality. It's taking all of those facets from these anime girls, from this gacha game, using an artist's ability to artistically bring them to life through the mirror of fetish art. This is a heavily sexually driven GIF that only lasts maybe 10 frames, a mere half a second of licking animation, and yet every aspect of this, from the smugness of the main girl having her armpit licked to the arm pose of her thoroughly being in a commanding position, completely willing to have her armpit licked, and the other one, eyes covered by hair, focused on nothing. There is no part of her that exists outside of being the one licking the armpits in this. A fantastic culmination of artistic design, completely thrown in the fucking gutter for such a shit post. It's a beautiful little back and forth they do. So we've taken a look at the first part of the heart, which is the technical artistic execution of it. The second part of heart is its efficacy. How well does this meme do its job of which it is trying to do? Now, what is the purpose of this armpit GIF? What feeling is it trying to evoke? What is it trying to do, and how well does it do it? Now, really, this is one of those memes that only exists to be a bit of a reaction image. It's not really supposed to be this massively multi-purpose Swiss Army knife of a meme. It exists simply to be an expression of art, some fetishism, an expression of appreciation for the characters in which you see, and yet still, it has done a good job at being straight up rage bait in a couple of different ways. For instance, you can see some of the memes that I found here on Twitter talking about it. That Umamosi GIF turned many people into armpit truthers. Let it be known that my culture isn't your costume. While it may seem with the popularization of this meme that more people are now outing themselves as being into armpits, many people who seem to have already been armpit enthusiasts are now dismissive of the tourism that is now coming to their fetishism. They are getting upset that people are pretending like this is okay because they have been mocked for liking armpits for so long. I have actually seen many people ridiculing this Umemosi armpit GIF simply because the main girl, Bakushin here, doesn't have any armpit hair, and they feel like that is a red herring to let you know that the artist who made this isn't a real armpit degenerate, because every real armpit enthusiast knows that an armpit without hair is like a sandwich without mayo. What the fuck are we even doing? Obviously, it's done a fantastic job of also just being a bit of a little bit vanilla, right? There's nothing overtly sexual, pornographically explicit about it, but it is a bit of a shock image, right? You see this thing pop up on your timeline, one girl licking another girl's armpits, and it is a unbelievable shock to the system when you're not expecting it to come. And a lot of people have been reacting to it as such. On the verge of a depressive episode, and I keep seeing that fucking armpit GIF. Permission to kill myself, please. And so I would argue that this armpit GIF, while without any real direction in its purpose, does do a good job of simply existing and garnering attention. There are a few situations where I feel like you could use this meme, but in reality, this is one of those things that's just meant to be enjoyed as a visual gag. Something that if you send to somebody with absolutely no context, would almost immediately start up a bit of a conversation or have you executed in public depending on where you live. And for that reason, I feel like it does a good job with its hit rate. It's got strong efficacy, despite the fact that it doesn't have any real direction. And I feel like the technical nuance in the artistic intent is there and is solid. Out of a full 25 points, I'm gonna give it in the H category. I'm gonna say a solid 20. I feel like it's pretty good. Moving on to the second category, we have Y, which is the yield, which is how much memeage are we getting out of this, and what constitutes the ability for this thing to be memed so thoroughly. We have 3 subcategories here, which is originality, versatility, and impact of the meme so far. So we want to take a look at how unique of a meme is this in an ecosystem where thousands of memes exist. How well does this do a good job at being something different from what already exists? Versatility, which is how many different use cases and variations of this meme do we have, as well as impact. So far, how good of a job has this meme done at being something that has changed internet culture? Does it even matter if this meme were to have existed at all? Taking a look at originality, I mean, I think it's fair to say that this is, in fact, an incredibly original meme. Now, when we're talking about originality, we're not saying, has there ever been a looping GIF before? Has there ever been some level of fetishism? Is there another GIF where somebody's licking feet, blah, 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 whatever? It's not necessarily that. It's more so, how well does this meme set itself apart from other existing memes in the same category? Now, there may be other shock image memes that, you know, the fat farting Bowser and what have you. There may be other examples of memes that fill the same purpose of this, which is an image that you can send to somebody that's slightly sexual and just sort of shocks you upon seeing it. Sort of a flashbang of a meme that you could send in a Discord group message. But nothing so specific as to featuring the girls from the Horse Girl anime. I don't even know how many Horse Girl video game. I don't even know how many other GIFs there are from that gacha game that so purposely encompass the fact that this is a Discord screenshot, the fact that it's such a short looping GIF, the fact that it's so well animated. I mean, this thing really does sort of, again, it doesn't feel like it really has any direction, any real purpose for why it's supposed to exist. But in that same vein, it's like, surely, if you ever needed to have a GIF to depict licking armpits, right? There's gonna be few other examples I can even think of, and this is my fucking job. I feel like this one knocks originality out of the fucking park. Second subcategory in yield we're taking a look at is versatility. How easy is it to use this meme in multiple applications, as well as how many or how easy is it to make redraws and different variations of the meme itself? And I would say this meme definitely has a hard time scoring points in versatility. As we've said a few times here, there isn't a great level of purpose for which you would use this meme, and as a result, there isn't really any situation where there's a perfect time for you to share this with somebody. Very rarely are you going to be in a situation where you're already discussing armpits, and so this meme comes up, as well as the fact that it's such a high quality, high production meme. This is a professional artist, 3D modeler putting this together. In order to even be able to reference this meme, you have to have a pretty advanced level of artistic talent to be able to even make your own version of this, to be able to reference this, let alone make an animation. It makes it incredibly difficult. It really gatekeeps anybody from being able to make their own versions of this meme. While there are a few versions that people have made, you know, like the examples that you see over here, it's mostly them pasting the same picture of Bakushin over and over again and making references to the original image. There are some artistic redraws of the Umemoshi girls from the gacha game, but it's very difficult to recreate this meme without a ton of artistic skill, so it's very tough to say that it's pretty versatile, given that you can't even really use it outside of that. And then the final subcategory we have in yield is impact. How much of a difference has this meme made on the ecosystem? I would argue that while this hasn't exactly made mainstream news, it's not like it's bringing PewDiePie out of retirement to do a meme review on this. It did bring me out of a slump. I found a newfound fire in my soul to put together this new show in order to simply talk about this meme. There are very few memes that have the raw sexual energy that makes you feel like a creep, but in a way that you just can't shut up about it. The way that this GIF does, it really is unique in that way, and it's because of that that it feels like so many people are referencing this online at the moment, despite the fact that basically nobody is able to make a redraw of this because of the level of artistic talent it takes to be able to make something of this caliber. You still see people, you've got people who never would have retweeted a lewd image in their life, seemingly without worry, sharing this absolutely disgusting armpit fetish art. It's definitely got its own little zone in which it's existing, and it definitely, for the people who enjoy it, has made a difference in their life. I would argue the impact isn't the biggest in the world. It's not changing the internet, but it is kind of changing the internet, you know what I mean? So half decent impact, I would say. Overall, in the yield category, this is a very original meme. Full points for it being something that is truly unique, not something I have seen reproduced in pretty much any other situation as far as I'm concerned. However, is lacking a bit in the versatility category. Not only is this a difficult meme to use in any number of situations, but it's also a difficult meme to try to recreate unless you are already an artist. And in terms of impact, it's a little bit limited by the fact that it isn't the most applicable thing possible. However, for the fact that it simply exists as a random GIF that somebody posted on Twitter, I would argue there has already been quite a bit of mileage. The number of tweets that you've seen about people talking about seeing this on their timeline over and over again just goes to show that there is quite a bit of reposting going on, even if it is the same image over and over again. I would argue that this meme is great in terms of yield. However, it just hasn't mutated as much because it requires so much artistic skill to be able to turn into something truly unique and different at the same time. I'm gonna say for yield, this gets a solid 17 points. Pretty middle of the road. Moving on to the next section, we have N, which is nasty gal. How many negatives does this meme have? And we're focusing on a couple key specific subcategories that I think are important for every meme, which is cringe, coworker, and industry plant. How cringe does it feel to try to share this with your friends? How likely is it to become a coworker meme? How susceptible is it to normification and becoming the next piece of brain rot skibbity toilet bullshit? And finally, how authentic is this meme? Does this feel like something that came about naturally through meme culture, or does this feel like a corporate industry plant of a meme that exists simply to try to sell you something? When we're talking about the cringe factor, I mean, this gets 0 points across the board. This is a anime girl licking the armpits of another anime girl. You have to really be out of every other image on your phone to be succumbing to sharing this with somebody. And there is basically no situation where you are not going to enter generational aura debt for sending this gift to somebody unless you are actively licking their armpits when you send them this meme. There is no way to get around this. You have to be confident to even be able to talk about this thing because it is pretty cringe. Now, on the contrary, because it is so incredibly degenerate by nature, it has a natural gatekeeping about it that makes it basically impossible to become a coworker meme. No matter how popular this meme may get, it is impossible for this to become the newest bit of normie brain rot skibbity toilet TikTok bullshit because everybody's too fucking embarrassed to even acknowledge that this meme exists. So it gets full points because it's immune to being normified. And truly, this meme gets full points for authenticity. It is not an industry plant meme. You can not only tell that by the fact that it took quite a bit of effort for this to even come to life, and you can see the portfolio of the artist who posted this to Twitter showing different versions of 3D models and other umemoshi derby girls artwork on their profile. This isn't their first attempt at making this sort of image, this sort of artwork, but on top of that, they almost immediately deleted the post on Twitter as soon as they posted it, seemingly in shame, almost adding to the idea that they never wanted this thing to go viral. So this truly is the opposite of an industry plant. It's an industry animal. I don't think anybody uses the term that way. Taking a look at the nasty girl category, we do have to subtract like a solid full 8 points, I would say, because it is full-blooded cringe. Cannot get a single point for being not cringe because it is in fact cringe. However, in maximizing its cringe value, it has made it so that it is impossible to become normified brain rot. You're not gonna see Zoomers wearing this on their t-shirt, and you're definitely not gonna see your mom sending you this image on Facebook. It's a little too crazy, and so it does reclaim some points for that. Plus, full-blooded, authentic product of internet debauchery. There is no chance that this meme came to life simply because a corporation wanted to sell you on the idea of more armpits. And so I think this is probably gonna hover around 16 points for the nasty category. Last but certainly not least, the A in the hyena rubric stands for aura, the soul, the unmeasurable, undescribable essence of what this meme makes. Does this have the Sumito media factor, the swagger, the flow? If you can't describe what it is about this meme that needs to be mentioned, then that's what this category is for. My personal category, and I gotta say, I love this meme. I understand that it's barely a meme. Like, if you were to show somebody to this and then had to explain why it was funny, they'd put you in a fucking, you know, psychotic ward. They'd send you to the madhouse. They'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Horse armpits? What the fuck? But it's in that it's like, in what world? You know, there are some memes that you show somebody and they laugh right away and you feel bad because it's like, oh, you didn't have to work for that joke. You know? Oh, you just think it's funny right away? You didn't need to watch a TV show? You didn't need to play the horse girl racing anime? This joke makes sense and you didn't even spend 100 hours in a gacha game to be able to appreciate the character details that go into making this funny? You've never even watched The Office. Why the fuck are you laughing at this picture of Dwight saying something? You know what I mean? If it's the harder it is to get to the punchline, to appreciate the joke, the better of a joke it becomes. The worse of a joke becomes, but the better of a meme it becomes. If it's too much of an inside joke, it becomes an outside joke, and it ceases to contain the magic of which it makes. And listen, I feel like the combination of artistic talent, internet debauchery, fetishism, raw hatred, and rage bait all coming together into this one gif of an anime girl licking the armpits of another anime girl. There is something magical about it. Do I wish the armpit had hair so that the armpit fetishists would embrace this more? Yeah, sure, absolutely. Do I wish that they made this using more known anime characters that weren't from a relatively popular gacha game? Something from Evangelion, something from One Piece, so that it got shared more, perhaps became more popular. Yeah, there are some faults to this, but again, all of this has come to fruition from an artist posting this on Twitter and then immediately deleting it out of embarrassment, and I feel like that just adds to the joke. In terms of aura, the Sumito media factor, I'm giving this 21 points. According to my flawless hyena grading rubric, the Bakushin armpit gif gets a 74 out of 100 on Pixel Purgatory. And if I'm being honest with you guys, that sounds about right. I mean, this meme has got some fantastic highlights. It's original. It's definitely got some use cases that no other meme would be able to fulfill. But it's so incredibly niche that as a meme that's meant to be shared with people, it's pretty difficult to find a situation where you'd want to share it. But hey, if you do find yourself in a situation where you send somebody this armpit licking gif and they don't immediately block you, you've probably just made a friend for life. And so a C on this feels about accurate. If you guys have any memes that you would like to see on future episodes of Pixel Purgatory, please let me know down in the description. I'm excited to do more of these, and click my link in the description if you want to go and get yourself something from Into the AM. It helps the channel out a lot, as does subscribing and liking the video. I will catch you guys on the next one. Spisu!